Hi there everyone, Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2011 and I thought it'd be appropriate to have a thank you card. You know, it's a card that you can send to thank people for a wonderful time over Christmas or whatever really. For today's card I'm going to be using this Mango Frost matte stack by Die Cuts with a View. And I'm going to be trying some different techniques that I have never tried before. And just giving them a go. So anyway, let's get started. I want to try some hot foiling. As I say, this is a new technique. I've never done this before, so it's a complete experiment. So yeah, bear with me if it all goes horribly wrong. For this I'm going to be using this Victoria and Albert Museum stamp set, and it's called the V&A Quilts Cornfield pack. And I'm going to use this big background stamp. And basically what I'm going to do is stamp this onto here, so this whole background will be, you know, foiled in gold in this pattern. So I think that could look quite nice on the pattern paper. So let's give it a go. Okay, so I've got my heat and stick powder at the ready. I've got my Versamark and I'm just going to ink up the stamp with the Versamark ink. I'm going to make sure I get a really good amount of Versamark on this stamp because it needs to pick up a lot, or as much as possible, of that heat and stick powder. And then hit it with some of this heat and stick powder. Now the way to use this powder is very similar to just normal embossing. You want to heat it up until it just starts to turn glossy, so you don't want to overheat it. As you can see now, that's shiny, and every bit of that that's shiny is really sticky. So next what we need to do is cut off some of this foil paper and just cover up all of the heat and stick over that pattern paper. Now ideally what you need to do is put this through a hot laminate machine, but if you haven't got one of those you can just kind of go over it again with your heat tool. But I do have a laminator, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. I'm just putting it inside a piece of copy paper just so that it protects my laminator machine. Okay, once it's been through the laminator, that should have all adhered properly. I say it should have. I have never done this before, so let's see how it goes. And just peel this away. Okay, this is the first time I've ever done this, so first impressions are, it's not a great representation of the stamp, in that it's gone kind of blotchy, but I think it looks quite pretty anyway as a background in itself. But really shiny. Love it. Okay, so let's crack on with the rest of the card. Okay, so what I need to do is just punch this with my Fiskars border punch. This is the Apron Lace border punch. And then I just need to adhere this piece of pattern paper down to the border punch. Okay, next up what I need to do is put my sentiment onto this bit of vellum, and for the sentiment I'm going to be using this set of stamps by Basic Grey. They are the Tree Hugger stamps, I think so. Anyway, I'm going to use the sentiment at the bottom, the thanks for everything you do. Just going to rub the piece of vellum just with a dryer sheet just to reduce the amount of static first of all. Then I'm just going to ink up this stamp using my Versamark ink, because I'm going to use some white embossing powder on this. Okay, and just heat set that. Okay, so next thing I need to do is adhere the vellum down, and I'm going to be sticking that sort of about here on this. So what I'm going to do is just put a line of adhesive on the back because you won't be able to see that. I'm going to fold those around the edge. Okay, so I'm just sticking this down to the bottom of this foiled piece. Just corner around these corners. Okay, then we just need to adhere this down to the base card. I'm going to use 3-dimensional stickers for this. I'm going to adhere that so that these 3 borders are the same width, so it's slightly off centre to the left. And then I'm going to put a flower in this corner. And to hold that flower together and to stick it down to the card, I'm going to be using one of these brads. I created these from just these American Crafts large white brads. They're plain brads, and I customized them with this paper stack. I just picked a couple of different patterns from there and just customized them, which means that any card that I make using this paper stack, you know, these will completely tie into, and yeah, they'll be brilliant. So for this project, I think this one will do. I'm just gonna build this flower. I'll have a link to the video where I show you how to customize plain brads in the top right hand corner of this video. Okay, and we can just adhere this down to the card using a couple of glue dots. Then just to finish up, I'm going to round this top corner here on the right. Just to finish this card up now, I'm just going to do some faux stitching around the edge. And I'm just going to use a brown fine liner for that. Okay, so that's today's card done. I hope it's inspired you to use these hot foils. I wasn't convinced about them at first because I just thought, you know, I could get this effect just using embossing powder, but I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in real life this is super, super metallic-y shiny. You could never hope to achieve this level of shine just using embossing powder. So yeah, if you're looking for something a little bit different, then yeah, these are great and you should give them a go. I hope you've enjoyed the card, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!